Another day, another scandal on the Supreme Court. Justice Neil Gorsuch's real estate dealings now raising ethical questions, just as Chief Justice John Roberts declines a request to testify before the Senate on the Supreme Court's ethics standards. All that and more now on Graff's Grievances. For nearly 2 years, Circuit Court Judge Neil Gorsuch could not find a buyer for a 40-acre property he co-owned in rural Colorado. And then his luck seemed to change overnight. According to Politico, just 9 days after he was confirmed by the Senate to a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court, now Justice Gorsuch found a buyer for his property. Brian Duffy ponying up nearly $2 million for the 3,000 square foot home on the Colorado River. But Duffy isn't just any real estate investor looking to expand his portfolio in the great state of Colorado. No, Duffy is the chief executive of Greenberg Traurig, the 9th largest law firm in the United States with extensive litigation before the Supreme Court. For perspective, since Duffy's purchase of the Gorsuch's co-owned property, his firm has been involved in at least 22 cases before or presented to the Supreme Court. This stunning conflict of interest was never disclosed by Justice Gorsuch. When he reported the sale of the property, he left blank a field asking the identity of the buyer. I wonder why. In the last 5 years, Justice Gorsuch felt obligated to disclose who bought him a fishing rod, a watercolor painting, and even cowboy boots. And while ethics lawyers say Gorsuch likely did not violate the law with his failure to disclose his real estate dealings with Duffy, this episode, once again, underscores the need for Supreme Court ethics reform. It was just a few weeks ago that we learned another Supreme Court justice, Clarence Thomas, failed to disclose hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of lavish vacations paid for by the billionaire Harlan Crow, who is also a major Republican donor. ProPublica also reporting that Crow purchased a string of properties owned by Justice Thomas at above market rate, which Justice Thomas also did not disclose. All this comes as Chief Justice John Roberts informs the Senate Judiciary Committee that he will not testify at a hearing next month focused on ethics reform for the Supreme Court. Roberts' refusal to engage with Congress rightly angering Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin, who responded in, quote, Supreme Court ethics reform must happen whether the court participates in the process or not. And Senator Durbin is absolutely correct. The legitimacy of the Supreme Court and the foundation of our independent judiciary is on the line. The High Court's favorability rating at a 3-decade low, according to Pew Research, with less than half the public viewing the court favorably. It is not a given that the public will respect the rulings of the High Court. The court has no way to enforce its decisions. The system works because the people trust in the court and believe the justices are impartial. The recent revelations about Justice Thomas and Justice Gorsuch undermine this premise and jeopardize our judicial system and the rule of law. The highest court in the land must be held to the highest ethical standards, and Congress must act to ensure this is the case. The Supreme Court needs a binding code of ethics that, if violated, must result in impeachment. Thanks for watching Graff's Grievances. Let me know what you think.